up everyone, it's your girl Scarlet Madness and back with another gameplay video. So, I decided to do probably a continuation on this before finishing up on it. I don't know how long this game, because I thought it was supposed to be a demo, but it ends up being like the full game. And please don't worry about my sister in the back. Her and I has been sick for quite a while, me and the rest of my family during school. So, you might hear her coughing or choking on some rope or something like that. But I decided to do a continuation on this to see how Soul's route might go to before in the next season I might do, what's his name? I'm going to have to end up doing his route because I'm going to do more than one. So I might as well... Is that a measuring tape? So let's finish this. You can say that. My mother gave me that name. It's a lovely name. Thanks. Well, I'm Scarlet Madness. It's nice to finally meet you, Soul. Soul nods his head with a smile forming on his lips, then returning his attention back to the professor. 3 artworks to showcase note. It could be from some form of inspiration mediums, while being Your professor then proceeds to give out other pointers for your project before leaving you and the rest of the class for the day. Everyone in the class proceeded to talk with their partners about their brainstorming ideas on what they're going to showcase and perform could get a high grade. You turn to Soul as he looks out his own charcoal pencil and his sketchbook for the class. You got plans for your first display, Soul? Inspiration about creating one's feelings, right? It's the easiest for now. It's a portrait. Let's use your face as an example. My face? He lets out a low chuckle. There are more acute expressions right now that could be considered as an inspiration. Huh? Oh, but I have this bandage on my face. Wouldn't that handle the process? You recall the events that happened back in the cafeteria. I could simply ignore it, or make something better out of it. Trust the process. He seems like he already had an idea on what to do, and judging from the half-filled sketchbook of his, he's quite familiar with the complex of art. Me, however. Let me put this one. I'm sure you're fine. Everyone starts somewhere. Plus, I can't really judge you since I haven't really seen your work before. Along with the demanding injuries on my hand. Oh, right. Let's not stress that hand anymore. Oh, wait, hold up. I think I went a little... Oh, crap, no! Dang. That was a very stupid decision to do. Alright, let's not stress that hand anymore. Well... Prepare to be amazed. That's the spirit. With a newfound determination from Soul cheering, you took out your own sketch pad and charcoal pencil as you worked with his portrait. While you were sketching up, you can't help but intervert your eyes on his bandaged hand from time to time. Seem like you're quite curious, to know what happened to this, huh? And you weren't silk with it either. You froze when he caught you red-handed, just like the red spreading out of his hand. You stopped drawing. Sorry, that was rude of me. It's fine. This is just the usual for me. I've gotten worse injuries than this. You raised a brow at that. Not the worst. If you don't mind me asking, what happened? He paused and introverts his eyes, but opened up to speak. Nothing much. While minding my own business, I got assaulted. I had to defend myself. Wait. He talked as if it was another normal Monday for him. Your eyes frowned. He noticed and just chuckled. No need to worry about me. All that matters is that I'm still here. You didn't say anything, however, counting on with the drawing, your movements slow, and now refusing to look at his injured hand. The school was more fucked up than I thought it would be. The sound of the school bell rings across the classroom and through the hallways. You quickly made a few lines on your portrait before giving up. You closed your pad and proceed to shove it inside of your backpack, earning you a confused look on your partner's face. Not even going to show me what you made? It's not done yet. That's never a bother to me. Can I see it? Wait. How about a small deal? I'll show it to you once I'm done with it. Once I'm done with the portrait, and you still need to draw me once your injuries get better. Sounds like a plan? You say with a wide grin on your face, trying your best to convince the male. He stares at you for a short moment before eventually leaning on his chair, crossing his arms and nodding along with your deal. Packing your things, you and Sol continued out on in the hallway. Do you have a phone? We can exchange numbers and updates to each other so we can do our next two more tasks. Sol takes out his own phone and asks for your number. You called it out, and he inputs it on his phone. Let me try to send you a message. You nodded and looked at your phone screen and see a new notification from an unknown number. This must be Sol. Sup. You type so differently from how you look. From the corner of your eye, you see Sol raise a brow. Sol's eyes raised at your text. What is that supposed to mean? Nothing. You chuckled and he rolled his eyes. Your stare lingers on Sol's face. A smile is an embrace on his handsome features while he looks at the block of the text on his phone. You bite the bottom of your lip as you recall the events that happened today, mostly meeting new people. First, firmly meeting Crow's group, and now meeting Sol. Back then, you struggled to form friends throughout college. There, you were convinced you won't be graduating without making a single connection, which would be unbearably disappointed to your father, and you weren't ready for it. You thought to yourself, those are odd people's encounters at the moment. It's all misunderstood people, all human, all the same. A sudden wave of determination washed over you, with a hand on your chest as you stare into Sol's orbs, making him tilt his head slightly. Sol, I want to be friends with you. I can sense that people tend to misunderstood you and overrail personality. Soul is quiet, but his gaze remains on you, lingering curiously. But let me be different. I want to know you. I want to understand you, Soul. If you let me. He blinked once, then twice, and then he chuckled. He puts a large hand on your head and then ruffles your hair. Alright then, let's mark today as the start of our wonderful friendship, Skylar Madness. You playfully brushes his hand off your head and nudging him on the shoulder. He lets out a small laugh at your poor attempt. As to you too, Sullivan Bishaman. I don't know how to say his name. Just Soul is fine, Skylar. Well, I need to get going. See you tomorrow? Huh? Of course. See you tomorrow, Skylar. Giving Soul a wave goodbye, you make your way towards the school's exit. My darling. My sweet, darling Skylar. See you later, pumpkin. Oh my god! As you walk through the hallways, your eyes caught on something on the nearby bulletin board. A poster was planted on the large board. The Halloween Ball. Come enjoy the festival spirit of Hallows Eve. A Halloween party, huh? Seems promising. A sudden vibration comes from your pocket. Curious, you took out your phone, expecting another message from Soul, but it was from Crow. Your heart lapped from your chest, recalling the events that happened earlier this afternoon. Can you meet me after class? I'll be at the front gate. You didn't send a reply. Turning off your phone, you quickly made a hesitant to the exit. You approached the school gate, keeping an eye out for your friend. Sure enough, there stood Crow, in his glory, posture straight with his arms held behind his back, his bag nearly placed on the floor, as his foot tapping on the concrete floor nervously. You yourself were growing nervously with each step you took as you draw closer and closer to him. When you reached his side and made your presence known with a small greeting, you noticed the way Crow's eyebrows raised in surprise, as if he was not expecting you to not actually show up before him. He clears his throat before composing himself properly, his body now facing in your direction. You wanted to see me? Yes. Lifting his bag from the floor, he swings over his shoulder and offers his hand out to take it. Offer you to take. I'll like to take you somewhere. It's a bit near the park. I'll lead if you let me. Take his hand or take his arm? Hey sis, what should I do? Take his hand or his arm?
Arm.
His arm?
Yeah.
Let's take his arm then. You didn't take his outreached hand, but rather boldly wrapped around your arm, around his. Earning a look of surprise from his unsure eyes. He did not question you on the matter, but a wide smile made its way to his features while a slight blush dusted his cheeks.
I know how to roll with people.
You know how to roll people, but bruh, I just been friend zoned a couple of days ago. What are you talking about?
That's why you lead them on. to see they're actually.
Lillian, I'd rather find the one. Dude just literally said it in front of the whole fucking class.
That's why you lead them on for a few moments and to see if they're actually trying to,
Play ya.
So it's good to be cautious.
Yeah, always stay on your toes. Oh, and for y'all guys who did not know, I have been friend zoned by my childhood friend, even though he liked me back. He didn't even waited for a whole entire year. And then he said it in front of everyone we were just friends. So I just been fooled and played. He holds onto your arm tightly and leads the both of you away from the school grounds. By the time you and Crow made it to the park, it was already sundown. And starting painting the sky. Is this place where you're trying to lead me to, Crow? Not quite yet. Come here. You follow him through the tickling of thick bushes, surprising to studying stars through a bit rundown. It still seems straining to step foot on. Looking up, you see it leads somewhere above. You and Crow made your way up to the stunning stars, some red, some orange, leaves coloring the step as you and him avoid a few puddles from the rain this morning. We're here. Come. It's a sight to behold. Taking one last step, you see Crow admiring whatever was beyond him. His smile bright as his eyes twinkle like the stars above. Your eyes went in awe upon the scene of the sincerely before you, replacing the one Crow has on his face. Not once did you take in concocting the idea of sightseeing within the city. Everything felt unfamiliar, intimidated even. You couldn't blame yourself for the feeling so distressed about the idea of traveling, especially since you had no one else within the city to guide you. By gazing at the sea of the lights and scattered out before you made it realize that you have been missing much of what the city has to offer. Looking further ahead, you took a notice a tall tower decorated with a bright neon pink lights. A little bit is right in. Is it a movie theater next to a mall? The rows of other buildings with many miniature colors lights seems endless. The more you scan the area, the more you see unfamiliar places that you didn't know existed. Your moments of silence was admiring the city view was important by the sound of rustling grass. You turned around, finding the source of the sound. Crow made himself comfortable laying on the ground underneath an old tree. You see his backpack leaning on its trunk. You turn your back from the city and walk to where Crow laid, deciding to keep him company. His gaze on the starry sky shifted to you as you sat down beside him, and a hopeful smile grows on his face. Judging from your face, all the lighting up, you seem like you like this place, huh? Care to join me? Accepting his invitation, you gave Crow a slight nod that brought joy to his eyes. You stretched a bit and laid on your back right next to him. Your fingers barely touching. You and Crow looked at the night sky, and you observed. Oh man! You observed how the stars twinkle as it rained from the morning, never happening. How did you manage to find this place? You tilted your head to look at him, and he gives you a closed eye, chuckling before his twinkle gaze meet yours. I take it that you'll never hardly of Lily's myth. Have you, Skylar? Lily's myth. Crow points at one of the old trees that stood above you, and then returns his gaze towards the stars. They say that this tree that the humans came in contact with was a blessing by the gods that guards this land. This very same tree here used to be a bear of multiple fruits. They say that no one that never rotted and or free for anyone to take. Or so what's the Picarian imputation says otherwise. There are other versions of the myth. Crow shrugs his shoulders. Moving his gaze from the skies back to the tree, he stares at it, as if he's trying to depart something just by the mere look of his face. There are other versions. Yes. Some say the fruits are actually poisonous. Others say it was only meant for the gods and no humans must take it from it lest they will be cursed. That sounds quite degenerate, the gruesome. It's no wonder they would rather use the lighter version of the myth. Crow lets out a low chuckle at your statement, nodding a bit as if he's agreeing with you. I guess that might be one of the reasons. Hey, Skylar. He pauses before speaking again. You perked an eyebrow at him. Yeah? This seems like a silly little question. No, lay it on me. Tell me, what is it? Do you believe in gods? This question caught you by surprise. You never thought Crow will... You never thought of Crow as a religious type. More so be interested in the gods. Or maybe he's just curious by the idea of them. This may be the best moment to know for sure. I don't. You don't? No, I don't. I believe in one hard work. Does that count? Crow merely chuckles at your statement with a hand resting on his chest. He shakes his head slightly, as if he couldn't believe he just heard you say that. I don't mind the people who believe in them. I just don't like the way some of them worship the very grounds their so-called gods walk on. You scoffed it. I believe that everything is made possibly through everyone's efforts, but it was also as a team or as an individual. Their believers only give credit to those doubts for everything, as if it's an insult to the forgotten people who sacrificed themselves to make things happen. You recall the townsfolk who endlessly praised and worshipped your patron for the bountiful harvest you and your family broke sweat and tears for. You watch as the efforts of your labor were all thrown to some invisible being which, as far as you know, you return nothing for the clamorous ones of the others. There was a miracle that you and your father and the damn farmland are still standing. and your crops still thriving, even after so much damage. Crow noticed the way your brows frown. He says nothing, but look in his eyes tells you that he shares your statements worth-heartedly. This is why we're two peas in the same pot. How about you? Do you believe in gods? You turn to Crow, repeating the exact same question he asked you earlier. He scans your face, your eyes, your nose, then your lips. He lingers, his gaze made you shrink back. Your heart flutters slightly. Crow seemed to realize something to himself as he returns his attention to the stars above shiningly. I don't. This surprised you, and Crow laughed at your visible shock and confusion. What? You don't think I'm a non-believer? If I have to be honest, no. Why so? You kind of dress like a priest. Crow's amusement grows widely as he broke out into one of the loudest laughs you ever heard from him. He laughed it so hard that he has to catch his stomach and wipe the tears stained his corner of his eyes. He was still chuckling when he unbuttoned the first two studs of his black polo, revealing more of his collarbone to you. Okay, what's going on here? You quickly adventure your eyes, finding the tree leaves to be very interesting at this moment. You felt a familiar heart rush to your cheeks. How's that? Less formal. For fuck's sake, Ikerbun. It felt like I'm seeing... Lillian, read this? I can't even...
Okay, let's see.
I can't even read this, sis.
It feels like I'm seeing a Victorian woman's ankles for the first time.
I mean, he's quite adorable, you gotta admit.
looks like a girl, yeah.
Oh my god, shut up. Crow grins at your reaction. It took the both of you a few more seconds of going back and forth with this teasing, as you reprimanding him before you finally calm down. The next few minutes were spent with you pointing at the stars and Crow teaching you about the collisions with a gentle whisper-like voice. You both fall silent, bickering in the peace of night. The silence was pondering. Crow fall deep in thought. About today, Skylar, and about those guys. So we're moving to this conversation next, huh? I gotta be honest. Derry put me up on this little hangout while I was feeling down on the dumps. I think I have to thank him for forcing me and actually giving me the courage to talk to you after class. He lets out a breath as he didn't know he was holding, refusing to meet your eyes. I just don't know if I upsetted you by suddenly dragging you into this group. I probably should have told you about them a long time ago, huh? I'm sorry, Skylar. You bit your lip. You suspected that you might have upset Crow by making him think that you didn't like the group pressuring at all, and that's forcing you to bend to his will. One thing to know about Crow is that he never is the type to demand, to control, to be a king, to be a tyrant. You didn't do anything wrong, Crow. In fact, I should be the one apologizing. You speak up without thinking. Crow turns his head to you, his gaze swirling with confusion at your apology. I'm sorry for making you feel bad. I didn't mean to upset. You swallowed a lump in your throat, trying your best to hold the tears that were threatening to spill. What was that?
Ben.
I just thought you forgot about me. They're amazing people. Brittany's pretty. Darling is a fun guy. Gio's so cool. And Jess is loyal. They're a great group. And most importantly, you're amazing, Crow. You're all amazing. But not me. I'm such a good actor. I'm just not sure if I could ever be a part of that group. You were always hiding in the shadows, no matter how much you tried to fit in. You are never to be considered people treating you like someone to toss away, someone to use. You're worth nothing but an extra. That's why she always tells you. You couldn't hold it back anymore. A sob escaped your lips, your vision slowly blurring as you felt a wet driplets of tears finally sliding down your cheeks from your eyes. For a moment, you saw panic in Crow's expression, seeming like not expecting you to burst into tears. He reached out to hold your hand. And suddenly, you feel a pair of arms circle around you as he pulls you closer to him, letting you sob on his shoulder. He says nothing but rubbing his hand along your back, allowing you to cry, not caring about his clothes getting wet from your tears. Once you calmed down, Crow rested his hand on your back, not letting you out of his embrace. You're amazing, Skylar. I'm sorry I never get to tell you that no matter how many times I thought of it, I just couldn't seem to find the words. But you're amazing in your own way, Skylar. You may not know it, but you're beautiful. You're funny. You're quite a phenomena.
Let's see.
Read it. Here.
Yeah, Phenomia.
You can feel the vibrations coming from his the vibrations coming from his chest. The chuckle he immersed. Heck, you're the most funniest person I know. All I'm saying, Skylar, is that you're amazing. You have no idea how much tears you shed tonight. Something that you think it's silly and childish. To cry over what was probably a thrilling matter to some, but the urge to sob returning after hearing those words from him. Do you want me to call you the most amazing Spider-Man? Just to prove that you are amazing? That made you giggle. And a bit as you wiped tears staining cheeks. With whatever strength you could master, you slowly pulled away and lifted yourself up. You sat up yourself up, hovering over Crow. And there you see the very same man that made you cry before literally doing nothing. His braided come loose. He didn't know when, but his hair pulling around his head. Crow stares up at you with searing eyes, remaining silent as a gentle smile plasters on his face. There was nothing but the moonlight emulating his tender features. Yet to your vision, he seems to be glowing. He's obviously beautiful. Oh, how you wish you could blame everything on him. If you could tell that he is the reason for all the unnecessary feelings swelling in your chest. You could tell him how good and bad it all feels. The heartaches, the butterflies flooding about your stomach. You want to blame him, but you can't. Hug him or kiss him?
Let me see.
Give me a... Okay. After my horrifying screams and from my sister's help, we chose to hug him. You don't feel as bad as before, but your vessel is not completely empty yet. Somehow just looking at Crow at the comfort he brought you made you want to biscuit in longer. Until you were sure you had no tears left to shed. Leaning down once more, you buried your face in his croak of his neck, and his arms instantly wrap around you. His hug was warm and smoothing as he waits for you to gather your thoughts. Crow rubs circles on your back and silently way of telling you that he was there. That you were not alone, and that he'll be there whenever you needed him. You didn't say a word, understanding that you need silence more than anything right now. You couldn't thank him enough for always knowing what you needed. You had no idea exactly how long you remained in this embrace while laying down on the grass, but you feel a lot better. That you were ready to get back up on your feet. You pulled away, meeting Crow's eyes that seems to ask you for your well-being. Fixing his collar, he turns to you. Are you good to go? You can read just from his gaze. You nod slightly, as it's the only thing that Crow completely releases you from his embrace, helping you sit up before he dusts himself off. He dusts off the grass that stuck to his shirt. He gives you a once over and gently sweeps away the leaves in your hair and clothes. You blink at him. He only smiles at you. You get up and Crow retrieves his bag, almost forgotten by the tree. He looks back at you, taking your hand slightly. It was time to go. It was time to leave this magical place. You looked at stars, how brightly they shone. You gave the sky one last glance before turning away, hand collapsing tightly around Crow's as you let him lead you home. Okay, I'm gonna end up probably ending the video here because I know I'm probably going over the time limit, but who cares? Anyways, wait. Oh, no. Anyways, I'm gonna have to go and probably leave the video like this until another time. I end up downloading this game twice from the phone until I get my own one. Anyways, I will come back to y'all guys in another time if I got the chance. Anyways, good night, my little pups. Don't let the nightmares bite. And make sure you like, subscribe, and enjoy my other vids. And please go over to my TikTok or Instagram page to probably learn more about me. And always make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And comment down below, what should I do next? Anyways, good night, my little pups. Don't let the nightmares bite.
This hell, I can only blame myself. 'Cause I know you're poison,